What is up, my friends? We are live and you are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. I believe I'm supposed to say what's up Anna as well because she hates the sound of my voice doing that intro. In fact, she just doesn't like the intro. So her husband asked me to say what's up Anna. How are we all? Loads to get through today, and I want to thank you all as always for joining us. Really do appreciate you giving up some of your evenings, come and have a chat with us. Just a quick thing. I know people are panicking. I get it. But anybody that wants to get to abusing me or anybody else in the comments on the videos is just going to get removed and blocked. So might as well knock that one on the head. I get it. Some people are panicking. Some people feel calm about it. Some people just resort to throwing abuse around towards me and other people. It's just not going to cut it, folks. So we're not going to stand for it. I'm going to take you through where we are with everything. I'm really comfortable with my sources and the information I have. I cannot convince anybody else to relax or believe or not believe. But what I can say to you is I am 100% that you will see Kerkez, Wirtz and Frimpong at Liverpool. I have seen some of the images around the Frimpong stuff. The photographs have been taken. The media has been done. His announcement will be imminent, according to Paul Joyce. The Florian Wirtz situation, you can be absolutely relaxed about. These things are very difficult. They take time. And if you throw in the fact that they're looking to negotiate a Liverpool player into it, I hope I can explain why this deal will take a little bit longer. But again, just to start off tonight, to reassure everybody, Florian Wirtz only wants to join Liverpool, Real Madrid, and I don't know where this Madrid fuss has come from with people, but you don't have to be concerned about it. I promise you, this isn't going to be another situation like Lavia, Caicedo, or anything like that. He will be joining Liverpool, and we'll talk you through the very latest tonight. I also want to say thank you to everybody for the lovely emails and messages over the last few days as well. You guys are awesome. Appreciate your support. And yeah, let's get into some of the comments tonight. Right, so where are we with this one? This one. Where are we? There we go. We'll go with this one from Colin. What's up? Been a while. Hope you're well, old friend. Colin, my man, how are you? I hope the restaurant and the family are doing well. I'm good, bro. I'm good, thank you. Just really excited about the transfer window and the start that we've had as a club. There's so many things to talk about tonight. We're going to be discussing a bit of an exclusive from Sam Maguire around interest in Gonzalo Ramos of PSG, formerly of Benfica from Liverpool. So we'll go through that one as well. Right, what else have we got? Is Ekitike coming to us or Chelsea? I've been honest about this, mate, the whole way through. I don't know with the striker situation, Ruse, but I don't know. I've been really honest about it. All I can say to you right now that I know is that you don't have to worry about Frimpong, Kerkez and Wirtz. The striker situation, I don't know what's happening there. I'm following it as closely as everybody else, trying to figure it out. Chelsea have agreed a deal for Liam Delap, which, you know, we told you about. Even when he was linked to United weeks ago, we told you he was going to end up at Chelsea. Credit Andy for that one. So yeah, look, people just need to chill out a little bit and let the process work out. I know it's difficult around Wirtz. I know people are getting concerned about it, but it is a very complex deal that is being overly complicated. Some people in the comments are saying, just pay whatever it takes. It isn't that simple for a couple of reasons. So let's just play this out a little bit. If Liverpool just coughed up whatever Leverkusen wanted, however they wanted, we may not have the money then to go and sign other players. So how this is structured is really important for the rest of our transfer window as well. So just, I know this is rich coming from me who hasn't trusted the process for a very long time, but on this one, honestly, just trust the process. It will play out the way that we want it to, I promise you. Right, Steve Tufnell, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Zeke Martins as well, welcome to Anfield Agenda Ultras, guys. Appreciate your support. I'm going to just drop into the comments and say hello to a few people. Hope you're all having a good day. So yeah, I don't know on the Ekitike one. I don't know where he ends up, Bruce, but if I said to you he ends up here or at Chelsea, I'd be an absolute liar. Yeah, so I don't want to lie to you, my man. I'm only going to tell you what I know and what's been written. So look, where do we want to start off tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the comments what story you want to go with. Because if it's Wirtz, happy to start off with that one. If you want to talk about the Sam Maguire, Gonzalo Ramos story, which I find quite interesting, we can, of course, talk about that one as well. Right, all the deals are getting done easily, and what's so complicated with Wirtz, just get it done. Omar, I will explain to you, mate, but one, drop your fucking attitude, firstly. You just think a deal for 150 million is done like that. You don't understand the process. Just admit that. And no other deals have been done quickly, mate. These deals have been in the pipeline for a long time. So show some respect to us and the people in the chat, Omer, or disappear, mate. One or the other. I'll let you pick which one you want. Nobody here is going to be putting up with pettiness from people who are impatient. We all want the same things. The deals are going to happen. You're just going to have to be a little bit patient about it. Or go watch somebody else who'll sit here and lie to you, mate. I don't give a fuck either way. But I'm fed up of people cry arson because it isn't as moving as quickly as they want it to. We want these things to be done properly. We want Liverpool to structure the deals in the best way possible for the rest of our transfer window. Because if Liverpool just paid up the money and just said, let's just sign them right now and give them it all up front. What about if I told you then you wouldn't have a left back or a centre forward or a potential centre back? So it isn't as simple as just playing FIFA and saying, get it done now, mate. That's not how the world works. That's not how finance works. And that's not how deals work. So wherever this crap came from about Real Madrid, put it out of your minds because you don't have to be concerned about it. Real Madrid are not going to hijack any move from Liverpool for Florian Wirtz. You don't need to be stressed about it. He is going to be a Liverpool player without any hesitation. I'll talk you through where we're at with it. Right, so David Massett said, it's good to see us moving like a big club again. Absolutely, it is, my man. Frank, good morning to you, bro, over in Australia. Hope you're well. So, who is the favourite out of Frimpong, Kerkez and Wirtz? Who's my favourite? Oh, Jordan. It's got to be Wirtz, man. Look, I think all three are really interested. Frimpong's a bit of a wild card, as we've spoken about before. Kerkez is the absolute successor to Andy Robertson, in my opinion. And Wirtz is the dream. Honestly, man, I did not expect this, Jordan, a few months ago. I didn't think we'd have a hope on Florian Wirtz, but it is done. As in, when I say it's done, sorry, I mean it is done in everyone's minds. I'll talk you through exactly where we are. So let's start off on that one. And Scotty as well, evening to you, man. Appreciate you. Do we know if Edwards is doing the Wirtz deal? I don't know who's doing the negotiation on it. That much I don't know, mate. Could be Gordon, could be Edwards, could be Hughes. I really don't know. Liverpool officials are speaking with Leverkusen. So let's take you through where we are on this. Bild has said Florian Wirtz is about to make his mega move to Liverpool Football Club. A matter of Liverpool agreeing the structure of this payment with Bayer Leverkusen. You don't need to panic about it. Although, like everybody else, I just want it done as well. Because I'm excited by it, just as excited as everybody else. But I hope you can just see how relaxed I am about it, because it is going to happen. I can't talk to you about what's going to happen at centre forward because I don't know. But I don't want to throw somebody under the bus. So I can't tell you exactly what I've been told and what I've seen. But trust me, them three, you have no concerns about. Sean said, just wanted to show my appreciation for your efforts in keeping us all informed. A truly exciting window that we haven't had for a long time. Sean, I am so excited, mate, about this window. This is even exceeding what I hoped would happen. I can't lie, mate. Florian Wirtz, to me, is an exceptional piece of business from Liverpool Football Club. And I didn't think we'd be moving in those circles. I didn't think we'd have had a chance. I thought he was going to be destined to end up at Bayern Munich. But let's take you through the events of the day and hopefully we can calm people down about it. So look, I will go through all the Wirtz stories that we have and then we'll have a catch up in the chat. So, Florian Plettenberg said, offers are being sent back and forth between Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen are trying to get a player out of Liverpool and you can assume an agreement will possibly be reached this week for the transfer of Wirtz. Now, of course, he will be meeting up with the German national team. There's already plane spotters out there trying to figure out if that plane that's at Cologne is going to be going in that direction tomorrow, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. Former Liverpool midfielder Didi Hamann, again a German who has his finger on the pulse of all things German football, said it won't be long before the Liverpool fans fall in love with Florian Wirtz. I can't wait for him to wear the red jersey for the first time. He'll be a fan favourite and will achieve great things at Liverpool. Again, the language here is important because everybody inside the football world, and especially the journalistic side, knows that this is a formality. Wirtz will become a Liverpool player. I do totally get that people are getting antsy and panicky about it because of what's happened in the past. But again, I'm going to reiterate, different people at the club dealing with these things at the minute. And what happened with Zubamendi and stuff before, I get it. But Wirtz has had the phone calls, given his word, and it's just a matter of time. More stuff though on Wirtz. So, where are we at? Sorry, so many stories here to move through. This here from Bill said Bayern Munich were hoping to pip Liverpool to the race for Florian Wirtz's signature, having worked on a deal behind the scenes for some time, but were informed last week that the player's preference was a move to Anfield. And in a show of respect and class, Wirtz personally phoned Vincent Kompany to explain his decision. So again, Bayern have been informed. Everybody involved in the process has been informed. He wants to come to Liverpool. This piece here, again, said on the day of Bayern's title celebration, there was a meeting between Bayern and Florian Wirtz. He was picked up at the airport and driven to a hotel in the city. Everybody was there to try and convince Wirtz that it was Bayern that he should be joining. It was their last attempt to lure him to Munich. After these discussions, Wirtz thought about his future for 5 days and in the end politely rejected Bayern's offer. Also, this one from Philip Aaron said, Florian Wirtz is on the verge of a move to Liverpool. Negotiations are ongoing. Liverpool hope to have clarity before the Nations League next Wednesday, which is when those semi-finals get underway. On this as well from Paul Joyce, he said Liverpool are planning to spend heavily in the transfer market this summer with negotiations ongoing for a club record deal for Bayer Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz, while the 30 million agreement for his teammate Jeremie Frimpong is close to being announced. That is done. The images have been taken. You will see him initially in the Nike kit, but he has been photographed in both. So again, this is information that has landed in my lap today from somebody who I won't throw under the bus, but somebody who I would stake my entire reputation on. So again, Frimpong is done, Kerkez will be happening, and Wirtz is just a matter of the clubs to finally thrash out the structure of this payment. Other than that, you've nothing to be concerned about. We'll talk tonight as well about Luis Diaz and his potential move away, because it looks like Liverpool have no interest in negotiating a new deal with him, again coming from Paul Joyce. He said there's also interest in Bournemouth left-back Milos Kerkez, who was valued at £45 million by his club, and other positions, meaning there will be focus on raising money through sales. So what I think is going to happen, we'll get these 3 deals done. The ones that we're all speaking about. Frimpong is already done. That's just a matter of when it's going to be announced. He's signed. He's done his media. You can box that one off. Wirtz, like I've said, just about the structure. Then that one will happen quickly. And then we move on to Kerkez. And it's just a matter of agreeing the deal with Bournemouth and how that 40 or 45 million will be paid. Other than that, you've got nothing to be concerned about. What we do have concern about maybe is the centre forward position, because that's moving back and forth. Chelsea have agreed the deal for Delap, like we said was going to happen. Hugo Ekitike is, again, the rumour mongers, man of the moment. But I don't know about Liverpool's interest there, because I just don't think Liverpool will see value at €100 million for Hugo. It's not what people maybe want to hear, but I can understand it, which is why the Gonzalo Ramos show, which is a very interesting one from Sam Maguire, makes a little bit of sense. So Sam writes that Liverpool add Gonzalo Ramos to their shortlist as they look for a value for money attacker in an overpriced market. And that's one thing I would agree on. It is an overpriced market. If you look at the money being asked for the likes of Ekitike, if you look at the money being asked for the likes of Šeško, you are talking ridiculous sums of money. So again, on that one, I'm going to have to wait like everybody else and see who Liverpool do make the move for. But I do expect we'll go to sales after we get these 3 big deals done, and that will give us a bigger scope of exactly what positions we need to fill and how. Right, let's get back into some of your comments. I've done that one. Ken said, thanks for the email back on the song I sent you. I hope, Ken, you didn't take any what's the word I'm looking for here? Offense with it. It's just, it's a very tricky world, the Liverpool song world. I really do appreciate you sending it over though, Ken, and thank you. Anybody know why no one is moving in the market for Osimhen? No, I don't. I really don't. It's a good point, mate. I don't know. We do know that Antonio Conte has just agreed to stay on at Napoli, by the way, but they're adamant that they're going to sell him. I always thought, hand on heart, he'd end up at Chelsea at some point, but I don't know. It is an interesting one that nobody's making that move because he's clearly for sale, and I would imagine at a fairly reasonable fee as well. Stevie Boy said, can only imagine the shirt sales once Wirtz is done. Oh, mate, they're going to be incredible. And just think about the balance of this, though. He's got an Adidas brand deal as well. And Liverpool have to structure this so everyone's happy. Because he's got the Adidas stuff. The club are still with Nike till the end of July. So you're going to see all of that stuff behind the scenes, image rights, all that has to be sorted out as well. These things are really, really complicated. And we're talking about what will most likely be the biggest deal in the history of our football club. So patience is unfortunately going to have to be a virtue on this one. But you're right, mate. Those shirt sales will be incredible. Sheriff Torchwood, how are you, bro? Nice to see you in. Said, good evening to you all. Wirtz would be great for Liverpool alongside with Mo Salah. Liverpool will be unbeatable when Liverpool get new players. Again, it's going to be so exciting. Like Stevie Boy said, the idea of seeing those Wirtz shirts is going to blow my mind. We don't know as of yet whether we will take number 23 or 27. We're still trying to figure out on that one. But Frimpong, pretty confident on 30. Right. Kev Parker, how are we, Kev? Said, Slot, Edwards, champions, Holy Trinity, no stress. Exactly. I'm really, really calm about it. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, we do have to pay the bills, so I'm going to let you guys have a little word from our sponsors, Surfshark, and I will see you guys back in 65 seconds where I will get stuck into all of the news with no more Surfshark or ad reads for you for the remainder of the stream. Just bear with me for 65 seconds while I give you a little word from our incredible sponsors, Surfshark. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. Right, my friends, we are back, and thank you so much to our sponsors, Surfshark, and of course to you guys for your concern, or patience, I should say, excuse me, while that was being played. I do appreciate it. Right, so let's talk about a couple of these things. So Gordon is better than Diaz, younger and faster, said AD. The Diaz situation is a really interesting one to me because in one breath you have him saying that he likes the club, wants to be here, but then you've seen other things today that suggested that his future will probably lie away. So on this one, Paul Joyce said, Luis Diaz has become the latest player to attract interest from Saudi Arabia, with Al Nassr monitoring a situation. But here's the part that concerns me. Diaz has 2 years remaining on his current contract, and so far there have been no moves made by the club to broker an extension. So are we to take from that he's going to be sold? Because if the club aren't talking about an extension with him, and we keep seeing of offers or interest coming in from Al Nassr, from Barcelona and other places, again, I don't know what's happening on the left side of attack, but if I was a betting man, I would say he's the most likely to be moved on. I know Gakpo was linked yesterday with Bayern Munich, but right now I feel like Diaz is the one most likely to move. John Murray said, what would you rate this window so far, Craig? And love your content too, mate. Keep it up. Thank you. 10. Hand on heart. This is a window that, one, has shut me up with regards to moaning about the money available, but Frimpong, Kerkez, Wirtz, and the first part of the early part of the window. Now, when I say early part of the window, of course, I don't mean the first 10-day period because you can only sign 2, but we will get these through the door early. And then I think Liverpool are going to look to some sales to beef up the funds a little bit more. And that's one thing I think we're going to have to show a little bit of patience on, as hard as it is. But honestly, John, right now, 10 out of 10 for me for this window. It's been an incredible start to it, and Liverpool have shown that they clearly have been working behind the scenes long and hard on these things. And all that talk about Virgil and Arna and everybody saying that, you know, it's going to be a big summer and we're going to be assembling a team to compete to win trophies for years to come. Those words are coming true. Sunil said, with Wirtz in a Salah 20-goal season will seem fantastic. Just one quality centre-forward away from retaining the title. It's going to be very interesting. Now, I'll be honest with you. I am expecting a bit of a drop-off from Mo next season. I think the numbers he's put up this year were remarkable. But I do think that this is going to give us, again, more options. So, Frimpong, as an example, there's been talk about him being utilised a little bit further forward. Wirtz is going to operate most likely in that advanced position behind the striker. And these are just giving us so many more options, and to take some of that pressure off Mo. Because right now, you've seen Mo being doubled up on, trebled up on at times. But if you've got Wirtz coming in as well, as you said, Sunil, one quality centre-forward away from retaining the title, I just don't know who that centre-forward's going to be. But I agree with a lot of the comments that say there's no value in the striker market at the minute. There isn't. If you're talking about £95 million that Arsenal are being quoted for Šeško as an example, that's lunacy. Lunacy. Ekitike is not worth €100 million in my opinion. He just hasn't done it long enough to demand it. So I understand that Liverpool are maybe looking around, and that's why I think the signing of Wirtz makes it so interesting, because it buys us that little bit more time. Craig, I've just come back from playing darts. Apologies, but what have I missed? Just me trying to calm people down, Joe, about the Wirtz situation, because a lot of people losing their minds about it, worried Madrid are going to come in and hijack the deal. They don't need to. The only thing I can say to you concretely is those three you don't have to be concerned about. The centre-forward situation, I'm as intrigued as everyone, but I don't know the answer to it. The Diaz left-wing situation, I don't know if he is going to be sold or not. Elliott, again, we're going to have to keep an eye on there. But what I would like your guess on is, who do you think Leverkusen are looking to have included in the deal for Wirtz? Because that post earlier on that came out, I think it was from Plettenberg, to say that that's one of the reasons this deal's become a bit more complicated, is that Leverkusen have an eye on a Liverpool player. Now, we know there's been interest from the Bundesliga for Quansah and Elliott. Maybe it's one of those. Maybe they're trying to revisit Tyler Morton again. Remember under Xabi Alonso, they liked the idea of Tyler Morton. I think James McConnell as well was somebody they had an interest in going back. So these are things that I guess need to be worked out. And if you throw another player into the mix, well, that creates a whole new set of problems. That player, 1, may not want to move. 2, may not want to move to the Bundesliga. And 3, the valuations could be different. So we're just going to have to be a little bit cautious on it. I don't want Elliott going to Leverkusen. I see Elliott in the chat, and I agree it could be Elliott as the one that they're trying to bring in. But I don't want him going there because I don't want him playing for Erik ten Hag. That's just me being a little bit snide about it. But I've always had a belief that Elliott will end up at Newcastle, personally. But I think you could be right, you know, about the guess of him being the one that they're looking at. But I really just don't know the answer to it. Right, so let's keep going here because there's so much more to get through. So, interestingly, Team Talk have said that Lukeba is a defender that Liverpool are looking at. They said Team Talk have made that Liverpool have made inquiries to Leipzig for Lukeba. 22-year-old French defender has a £74.5 million release clause in his contract. But again, I can't say to you with any confidence that he is the one that Liverpool are looking at. I've no idea outside of the 3 I've spoken to you guys about repeatedly. The rest, I'm as intrigued as all of you. AD, how are you? 111 goal contributions between Wirtz and Frimpong over the last 2 years. We are laughing if they do similar numbers in the Prem. It's going to be really intriguing to see how this works out. On the pitch, I mean. Because Wirtz is a generational talent, the one that we've been waiting for, albeit I didn't think we were going to get him. I didn't. I thought we were going to go big for the centre forward, maybe a wide player if we lose somebody, certainly at centre back in the 2 full back positions, but They've pulled a masterstroke with this whole Florian Wirtz stuff. They really have. I want to ask you, I'm going to go for the first poll of the night, so bear with me. Right, let's get this one going. Okay. So, I want to just ask you straightforward, are you convinced Wirtz signs? Because I want to just see how many people are nervous about this, because I've been reading through the comments of the earlier video today, and it's a little bit mixed. Some people calm, some people somehow blaming me, but that's the job. So yeah, let me know this poll. We'll put it up, see what you guys think. And of course, we do welcome all of your feedback on it. And give us an idea of how Liverpool fans are feeling about it. If you want me to give you a number on it, I am 98% that Wirtz comes. Genuinely, there is no way this doesn't happen. This isn't going to be a Caicedo situation. Because with Caicedo, we never knew the player's stance on it. We knew Liverpool had put the bid in. We knew Liverpool had won that bidding process. But I never knew where Caicedo was at with it. And obviously, he'd given his word to Chelsea and that's where he ended up. But Wirtz has given his word to Liverpool. If you take one thing from this whole stream, just keep remembering that. He's spoken to Bayern. He's already told them no. Madrid are not in the mix for Wirtz in this situation. It is Liverpool. Man City have backed away and they've all done it because they know Wirtz wants Liverpool. And when you have Didi Hamann and many other people saying they're looking forward to seeing him in a Liverpool shirt, you know, you should be, I hope, somewhat comforted by that one. Why not 100? Because it's football. It's football, my man. And I wouldn't be 100 about anything in life, to be honest with you. You know, there's very few things in this world I would tell you I'm 100% about, but I do get you. I do get you. Harry said, Craig, on the centre-forward target, I could see us looking at Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart. Basically, he's the German Ekitike without the PR. Well, I appreciate your input on that one, Harry. I will throw that name around and see if I can get you any joy in it. But it's not a name that I've heard personally, mate. But again, I don't know what's going on with the centre-forward situation. When do you expect that here we go for Florian, said Alfred, which is a very fair question. I have a feeling we'll get it by Saturday, but they want it done and dusted by Wednesday because, again, the Nations League starts. So I think the German squad are meeting up tomorrow, if I'm right about that one. But the feeling is that Liverpool would like to get this, at least the medical part of it and all, get the permission for him to come over and get all the formalities done. But you got to get that breakthrough in the negotiation. So everybody wants this one to be done quickly because Leverkusen, of course, want to start planning for their future and stuff like that. So I would say the weekend is probably a realistic time for when we get that Fabrizio Romano, here we go on it, but maybe even sooner. Okay. Right, let me just go back across here. I have a couple of chats that I need to get back to. Where are we on? So, done that one, done that one, done that one. I've done that one. Cool. This one. So, XD Kelly said, hey, Craig, wonder what will happen with Kelleher. Could he be part of a swap deal? I don't think so. I think Kelleher's likely to stay in the Premier League. We spoke about 4 or 5 clubs interested in him. Brentford were the latest one to throw their hat into the ring. Can you guys actually help me out with something here? I thought that Chelsea and Bournemouth had agreed a deal for Kepa to be permanent there. I thought I'd seen that somewhere before, and again, I don't follow Chelsea transfers or Bournemouth transfers that closely with regards to their incomings, but Bournemouth's name have come up again for Kelleher, but I thought, maybe I'm wrong, that Kepa, there was an agreement there for Kepa to permanently go to Bournemouth. I certainly know Iriola wanted him to stay. So for me, no, I think Kelleher stays in the Prem. Leeds, Brentford, Bournemouth, and a couple of other Premier League clubs have been mentioned. Chelsea apparently aren't one of them, but for me, I think Newcastle would be worth having a look at Queevy and Kelleher. I think he's certainly better than anything they have. If I'm him, I'm probably saying Leeds. Brentford, I don't know, there's just something that I wouldn't find particularly attractive about Brentford if I was Kelleher. But I guess you do have the consistency of them being in the Prem. against Leeds, who, everyone thinks may go back down. I personally think they'll stay up. Right, some more to go through. Bear with me. I'm playing catch up here. Craig, who is your starting 11 if we get Frimpong, Wirtz, Kerkez, and Nketiah? I think it depends on who the opposition are. Like, I say this all the time. I don't particularly think we have a starting 11 that's just going to be a starting 11 no matter who we play. If you're away from home in Europe, you might play with two deeper lying midfielders. If we're at home, you might want to push those fullbacks a little bit further up. So I really don't know exactly. My gut instinct tells me at this moment in time we may see Wirtz operating a false 9 at the start of pre-season until we bring in a striker. But off the top of my head, Alisson, Bradley, Canade, Virgil, Kerkez, Gravenberch, McAllister. I think Szoboszlai, because I think we may see Wirtz on a false 9 at the start until we get the centre forward sorted. And then, of course, Salah on the right and Gakpo probably on the left if Diaz moves on. But I think if Diaz moves on, it'll be interesting to see if maybe Wirtz then drifts in from the left, or if we go out and bring in another left winger. And I honestly don't know the answer to that one at the minute. All the non-Liverpool streamers are shaking in their boots. Exactly, they are. And some Liverpool fans are letting them get in their heads, which they shouldn't. Because remember, these people don't want Liverpool to do well. It's not in their interest for Liverpool to do well. But they are worried because, well, they should be worried. Liverpool are doing serious business in this window. John Wood said, is there any chance Stevie G replacing Johnny Heidinger? Initially, I would have said no, but it has come up today in a couple of articles. So Johnny Heidinger could well take up the Ajax head coach role, which means one of the assistants, along with Schipke Hulshoff, would of course have departed. So Hulshoff is still there as the number 2, but Dirk Kuyt's name has been mentioned. Steven Gerrard's name has been mentioned. I don't know how serious that could be. Rangers as well, a possible destination for him. And there's also been some talk of Pep Lijnders being on Manchester City's wish list to come in there and help Pep Guardiola out. So a lot of potentially crazy stuff going on in the world of football at the minute. Do you think 85 points are enough to win the Premier League next season? I expect us, City, Arsenal to compete next season. Chelsea, Newcastle still away from competing, in my opinion. 85 points. No, I don't. I think probably 87 to 89 or maybe 90 would be kind of where my comfort zone. Well, put it this way. Sunil, I wouldn't take 85 points if you offered it to me right now for next season. So I do think we need to go a little bit higher than that one. Is not winning the Champions League or Premier League an underachievement now? It's a really good question. I mean, it's always difficult to say with the Champions League because you are somewhat at the behest of, a red card in a knockout stage game or something like that. But I would say not bringing in any silverware in a season now would feel like a bit of an underachievement. Yeah, like I'm not going to sit here and go down the Arteta route of trying to say second place is good enough if you do it 3 years in a row. With what we're spending and what we've done, I think the expectation should be for some silverware every season. If you look at Manchester City season this season, they'll look at that as a failure because they didn't bring in a trophy. Yes, they got Champions League football, but they got no trophy. And I kind of feel like that's kind of where we're at now. I would expect a trophy over the next few seasons, every season. No, I'm not saying I'm going to throw my toys out of the pram if it doesn't happen, but I think you're right. It has to be seen as the goal coming in and out. We're building a squad to be able to compete in these 4 competitions. You would like to think we'd have a good chance of bringing home one of them. Danny Bingham, how are you, bro? Said, hey, Craig, Wirtz is coming. We are winning the lot. It is the most excited I've ever been about a transfer window because I actually believe this time. And all the other stuff was, you hoped. The Bellingham stuff, you hoped he'd choose Liverpool. You hope he could figure it out. But this one feels like everything is aligned. And Wirtz has given his word that he wants to come to the club. There will be no late hiccups. And I really think we're going to have an exciting summer. I mean, do you know what's actually intriguing me most, though, Danny, is the outgoings, because there's so many that are up in the air. What happens with Canade? What happens with Kwanzaa? Where's Elliot going to go? Kelleher, do we sell Diaz? What's going to happen with Jota? Where does Darwin end up? How much do we get for him? So many questions that probably will stop us from being able to answer some of the other signings because we do have to recoup some money. Chiesa could be part of a swap deal. We only paid 10 million for him. 22 months with you. Thank you so much, Connor, for being with us 22 months, by the way, mate. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate your support. Again, Chiesa is another one of those that I would say right now, I've no idea. Arne Slot said he's going to be here next season. You said it right away when he was asked, yes. Will he be here next year? Yes, definitely yes. But is he going to get game time? Can he give him those assurances? If we had Wirtz in, if Chiesa stayed, Salah's on a new deal, Gakpo staying, probably Jota going to stay at this point, Darwin might go, Diaz might go, do you bring in another left-sided attacker? Is it going to be Anthony Gordon? Do we revisit that situation? It's fluid. The only thing that I feel comfortable putting my neck on the line for is to say Frimpong is done, Kerkez will be done, and Wirtz is a matter of time. Those three are where my 100% rubber stamp, you can hang your hat on it. The rest of them, I'd be a liar if I told you it's going to happen or I know exactly what's going to happen. I don't. And I also, by the way, I totally understand people in the comments who will say, well, you're an aggregator account, or you don't know the inner workings of Liverpool Football Club. I don't know everything about Liverpool Football Club. I am not the greatest connected person in the world. But if you think I've been in this job going on 8 years now and haven't made a few connections along the way, be they journalists, lower tiered agents, you're probably being naive on that one as well. So I can only come on here and be honest with you. If you don't want to believe me, no hard feelings from my perspective. All I would ask is just don't be abusive in the chat. João Pedro is better than Ramos, is too slow. Sounds like same price for both. So we actually had this debate ourselves, Mike, behind the scenes about João Pedro and Gonçalo Ramos. I kind of agree with you, mate. I'd be more on the João Pedro camp than Ramos personally, but you know that's just an exclusive that came out from Sam Maguire saying that it was an option for Liverpool. The key thing I took away from what Sam wrote was the value for money attacker, because it is an overpriced market at the minute. It is definitely a seller's market when you're talking about strikers. Eddie, my man, how are we? Said, what do you think is going to happen with Diogo? It looks like at this moment in time he's going to stay, but like I've said, it's a fluid window, and there are 8-9 Liverpool players whose futures are in the balance, and I would be a liar if I told you I know exactly who's going and when. I don't. The only ones I say are absolutely out the door: Kelleher, Darwin, and Costas. Them three, I feel comfortable to say they will be going. Elliot, most likely. Some of the other ones, though, are up in the air, and it may depend on availability of other players, potential deals that Liverpool feel comfortable in the numbers with regards to outgoings, and players who may be happy with a bit part role. Others may want to go on and search for first team football. Cancelled. Said sign Alexander Sorloth until Isak is ready. I don't think they're going to want to sell Sorloth, to be honest with you. He's done very well at Atletico Madrid. Bagged 4, I think, in one of the games recently. Oh, I want to just... I don't know if I want to call this an announcement or whatever, but as you guys know, we were over in Liverpool for a show on Sunday, and we were supposed to be there last night for another one, but obviously with everything that went on, we didn't feel comfortable doing the show. But what we are going to do is all the ticket sale revenue that we made for the show on Sunday, we're going to donate to charity. We're speaking with the venue at the minute to see if they have any suggestions about the best, the most in need in Liverpool at the minute, whether it be the first responders, whether it be mental health charities, whether it be support for the families who've suffered through injury. What we're going to do is donate all of our ticket sales from the Sunday show that we did to however the venue deemed fit and best to help out a bit. And again, not something we're talking about from a perspective of wanting an attaboy or at, and we just think it's the right thing to do. Again, we love the city. It means a lot to us. They've been a big part of our lives. And I don't like to see it and its people hurting. And if we can help in a tiny, tiny, small way with some of the fundraising efforts, those ticket sales just feel like a fairly straightforward way to start the process. And again, we hope to get over and maybe do a charity show over there as well at some point. But we just want to support the city that's given so much to us. Right. What else we got? Sheriff Torchwood said, "It's my 50th birthday party this Saturday. Congratulations, my friend. 50, big number. I hope you have something special planned. And again, happy birthday to you." Sunil said, "Answering Lewis, we need to win one trophy per season minimum, even if we aren't able to win the big ones, which is difficult every year." I kind of agree on that one. That's where my head's at with it at the minute. With the level of signings we're making, I think legacy era is what I'm thinking. John D, thank you, man, to be a member with us for 10 months. Incredible support. Said, "Amazing to see the channel going from strength to strength, mate. Best community to be a part of. Diaz, Wirtz and Salah. Your defense, is terrified." It's going to be incredible. I think Diaz goes for what it's worth. Now, I'm not saying it as a matter of fact thing, John T, because I don't know that to be the case, but my gut feeling is that we see Diaz sold this summer. And on that, it looks like you guys were right, by the way. I'll move on to speak a little bit more about it in a while, but the asking price for him seems to be closer to the £70 million that you guys voted for last night. If you were with us on the stream, you'll remember I asked you what you think Luis Diaz market value would be, and I said I'd be in the 60 to 65 camp, but you guys said 70 in the poll, and seemingly that's the number Liverpool are asking for. Stephen said, "Craig, hope all is well. I was wondering if we could win the Champions League and Premier League, that would be ideal. But if you had to choose, would you prefer back-to-back or the Champions League?" Oh, man, I probably edge the Champions League. But, if you ask me this on any given day, I'd probably flip-flop on it. Going back-to-back would rule out any of the saltiness or any of the undermining of what we did this season. But to me, I don't really care about any of that because it's just saltiness and bitterness from people who want to just undermine what we've done. I've always said, to me, the Champions League is the one that I look for every season. It's the most important trophy to me of the whole lot, but going back to back is something that would be quite incredible as well. So I'm torn on it. I'm probably 50-50. Is Moise Keane up for sale? Get him for 35 to 40 million. I've no idea. I haven't really kept track since he's gone to Fiorentina this season. I don't really want somebody who'd been at Everton in that regard either, mate, but not seeing his name linked with Liverpool is all I can say. Arsenal are choosing Sesko over Gyökeres. Can't make it up. So they're the two players that I've always known that Arsenal were interested in, was Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko. But the numbers for the Sesko deal looks incredible. As in by that I mean really high. So Fabrizio Romano said, "Understand Arsenal have started moving initial concrete talk for the Benjamin Sesko deal. He's always been high in the recruitment team management Mikel Arteta's list, with attempts to get a deal done rejected by Leipzig last year and in January. Now Sesko will leave and Arsenal are on it. But there's some prices gone around about 95 million quid. Right, what's this that Mark sent me? So, Gerrard has ruled himself out of has been ruled out of contention for the Rangers job, so he won't be going back up to Scotland. This piece here on Sky said, "Rangers manager search, Steven Gerrard will not return to Ibrox with Ancelotti and Russell Martin among contenders." David Ancelotti, I should say. Sorry, his son, not Carlo, who's obviously gone to Brazil. So yeah, Ancelotti's son, Russell Martin, two names in the mix for the Rangers job. Where was I? Right. I did say to you guys I wanted to get back to Lucho. Was it Lucho for a second? Yeah, bear with me. Where was this news on the number? One sec. That one? Yeah. So Ben Jacob said Luis Diaz is a leading target for Al Nassr, and the club officials have already requested central funding to make a bid. Diaz is likely going to cost €85 million plus, and an exit is by no means guaranteed. So €85 million plus is about £70 million, which again you guys were spot on about yesterday. Keith said, Craig, do you think we will get Wirtz deal done? 100% it'll be done. I said 98% earlier, but just for effect in this scenario, yes, mate. I don't think you've anything to be concerned about with Florian Wirtz other than the impatience that we all feel, because of course it is taking maybe a little bit longer than we would have hoped, but it is a very tricky deal. And again, remember, we're talking about a deal that will be the most expensive deal in the history of our club. So, got to make sure that it's right. And here's one of the reasons why. Like I said earlier on, the structure of the deal could be the difference between us maybe getting another player or not. So if Liverpool are able to structure this over, let's say, 4 years worth of payments, that would mean we'd have more ability to go out this summer to go out and spend money. But if you had to commit more money up front or over a shorter period of time, then that may have a kick-on effect or a knock-on effect to another area of the pitch that Liverpool will be looking to add strength and depth in. So I know it's frustrating, but I can only just keep saying we're going to have to be patient on this one. It will happen. When do you think we get the Here We Go? I wouldn't be surprised to see it by the weekend, like I said earlier. Everybody concerned wants it done before Wednesday when the Nations League games kick off. So it is a bit of a race against the clock. And I'm not saying if it doesn't happen by Wednesday, it isn't happening. But certainly the objective for everybody concerned is to get this deal done as quickly as possible. Liverpool don't want to hang around on it, obviously, for obvious reasons. Craig, if, say, the Wirtz deal buggers up, can you eat a whole broccoli? Well, what if it doesn't bugger up? What are you going to do? So I always get this in the comments. I'll blame you if it doesn't happen. Right, fair enough. But what about when it does happen? What do I get then? See, this is a no-win situation for me sometimes. I get all the dogs abuse on stuff, but when I'm right, that always seems to be forgotten about. Who told you about Chelsea are going to come in and take the situation for Liam Delap? We told you that ages ago. When United were the favourites in the media and Sky were banging on about it, we told you we'd end up at Chelsea. Where has he ended up? At Chelsea. So sometimes I get the information and I'm honest about it. Sometimes I don't, and I tell you I don't know. But these transfer windows are difficult times because some people are impatient, some people want to just lash out, and some people are just assholes. And those assholes can do one, as far as I'm concerned, because I can only share with you what I know. I don't force anybody to watch the videos. I don't force anybody to believe me or not believe me. But, my reputation's important to me, and I always try to be as honest and upfront as I can about these things. And I'm so confident about these three particular deals because my information on it is absolutely rock solid. Leighton said, in my opinion, Ekitike is overpriced and I prefer Pedro at 40 million before Ekitike anywhere near 80 to 100 million. I agree. I agree on both aspects of what you've said. I think he's overpriced. Remember, when they signed him, was it 18 months ago at Frankfurt? They got him for like 13 million quid, or like sterling money. And now they're demanding 80 to 85 million. I just don't think there's value in that. We've talked many, many times about Liverpool doing deals in the market, and one of the things that is mentioned in that is value. And with Wirtz, you are buying a difference maker. You are buying a guaranteed bona fide, a star. We can't say that with any degree of confidence about Hugo Ekitike because he's a little bit more raw. There's potential there, but I agree with you, Leighton. I wouldn't pay the €100 million that's been asked. Is Wirtz similar to Coutinho? I would say he's better. Yes, very two-footed. To me, like I said, when the talk was that Manchester City were more likely to get him than us, I was honest. And I came on and said, if City get him, I think they win the league. And you make them favourites for the Champions League. And if we get him, same applies. I think it makes us favourites. So I think he's better than Coutinho, to be honest with you, mate. And I think we'll see that when he comes in. Like, just listen to what Didi Hamann has had to say on it as a German football expert. He said, where is it? Where's this comment from Diddy? Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Sorry, so many comments from people today. Where was it? Yeah, so Diddy Hamann said, it won't be long before the Liverpool fans fall in love with Florian Wirtz. I can't wait for him to wear the red jersey for the first time. He'll be a fan favourite and can and will achieve great things at Liverpool. It's going to be so exciting, lads. I haven't stopped smiling today all day. I've been just kind of strutting around the house in incredibly good mood. Right, let's keep going. Let's check in on our poll, actually. Sorry, let's check back in on the poll. So, there we go. I'm loving this optimism. Are you convinced Wirtz signs? 80% of over 3,000 people that voted said they are. I love it. Well in. And you can put me in that 80% as well. I am very, 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 very confident that Wirtz is going to happen, and soon. Kerkez, again, that'll be just a matter of agreeing that deal with Bournemouth. There's no problem with the wages. He's very excited to come and play for Liverpool, according to Romano and other journalists. And Frimpong is already done. It's just a matter of when that gets announced. Again, the images have been seen of him in his media stuff, and yeah, it's done. So it's just a matter of when we get the official announcement, as Paul Joyce said. Whether it be 1st of June or whether that's soon, I don't know. He did say it was imminent, so we'll wait and see. The real Johnny Sins, how are you, my man? Said, Craig, after this summer window, we should expect at least 2 trophies next season as the minimum, with the Premier Champions League and at least one of them. Mate, I love it. I love us holding ourselves to high standards, and with the calibre of players we're bringing in. Absolutely. Like, Arsenal won't get Zubimendi in before the 1st of July, according to reports today, although he will become an Arsenal player. They're looking to spend a lot of money on Šeško, and they've been linked with Leroy Sané as well. That's not going to scare me as a Liverpool fan. If you're talking about us bringing in Frimpong, Kerkez, Wirtz, a centre-back and a centre-forward when we sell Darwin, bring it on. I think, if anything, that gap has increased in the calibre of players that we have compared to our rivals. And the business that I've been seeing Manchester City being linked with, that's not particularly scaring me either. Just have the Chiesa song on loop in my head, said Adam Brown. What one have I had in my head actually for the last couple of days? Oh, the Luis Diaz song. That's been gone on loop in my head for the last day or two. David Lang, what is your wet dream of a window, Craig? Much love from Washington, D.C. So, what we're doing... So, Frimpong, check. Although I would have loved Livramento as well. I won't lie, I like Tino Livramento. But Frimpong, check. Kerkez, absolutely 100%. Centre-back, I don't know, because my wet dream in there is already gone to Real Madrid, unfortunately. But imagine we got in Alvarez and Wirtz. After that, man, you can just do what you want. You know what I mean? I don't care how the rest of the window goes, because if we got in Alvarez, Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez, just make the trophy cabinet bigger. That's all I'm saying, my man. Just make that trophy cabinet bigger, because we're going to need more room for some more trophies. That will be my wet dream now. Just, if you got Alvarez and Wirtz in, oh man. Yeah, I'm going to have face ache from smiling if that happens. TOTT2KZ1, how are we, bro? Said, all aboard HMS, we sign Wirtz and go back to back. These ship names are getting longer, dude. They're getting longer. That's not what she said. There she is. Kelly, how are we, my dear? Lovely to see you in as always. Said, evening, young Craig. I do love that you say that. It's not very often these days I get to be called young Kelly, but you always make me smile with that one. Have you had any news whether Chiesa is staying or going? The only thing I could say to you, Kelly, is what the manager said. When he was asked, is Chiesa going to be here next year? He said, yes, definitely yes. Now, Fede seemed a little bit more aloof, is that the right word, on the bus when he was being interviewed about it, but I hope he stays. But I hope he stays if the manager trusts to give him minutes, if you get me, Kelly, because nobody wants to see a situation again where Fede's just left out of squads or isn't getting game time, because we know what a good player he is. So if the manager starts to think that he can use him and get him fit enough in pre-season, without using the old cliched sign, but he will be like another signing because we haven't got to use him this year. Stephen Shopping said, Craig, I'd love to see a shock announcement of us bringing Rafa Leão. We were linked to him earlier in the spring. He could be the missing number 9 for 75 million. I don't want Rafa Leão. He's too inconsistent. Even, speaking to Milan fans about him, you'll see that sometimes he's brilliant and other times he's just completely off. But he has been linked with a move to Bayern Munich since they've lost out on Wirtz. I'm not saying anything comes of that because, they've been linked with Gakpo, they've been linked with Rafa Leão, and there's another player somewhere whose name escapes me that they've been linked with, Nico Williams. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be Rafa Leão again. But if we lose somebody on the left, we are going to need somebody there. Adam Byrne said Murillo for me, Craig. Yeah, look, all suggestions at centre-back are very welcome because at this moment in time, look, is it fair to say that right now, as we sit here, we need one centre-back? So if nothing changed, I still think we need a centre-back now. If we're to lose one, I would argue we'd need two. So for me, we never replaced Joel Matip, and I think we need to do that. Canada, I don't know what's happening there, but I hope he signs a new deal. But if we don't, he'll be sold this summer because you can't let him go on a free. So for me, we need one centre-back as things stand, but if we lost one of Canada, Kwanzaa or Gomez, I think we need two centre-backs. And Murillo is an interesting name. Lukeba, an interesting name. Arujo from Benfica, an interesting name. Mark Gay, actually, looks like he is of interest to Bayern Munich, according to a report today. Bayern Munich are in talks with Mark Gay, said Transfer News Live. So, don't think it's going to be him by the looks of it, but I really don't know. I haven't got a clue on centre-backs. And one question that people ask me as well, which I really don't know the answer to, is, are we going to bring in a DM? I don't know the answer to that one. Endo looks like he wants to stay, which is brilliant. We all love Endo. Bajcetic is going to be given an opportunity in pre-season. Tyler Morton, I do expect to be sold. So I really have no idea what the plan of action is there. Craig turning his body into an amusement park. Yeah. There'd be lots of bumps and hills on it anyway. The old big fat belly car. Oh, I've lost 6 pounds, by the way. I actually weighed myself today. I'm down another 6 pounds. So slowly we're getting there. Leao's a left winger, not a striker. I know. He knows that as well. I think he was just kind of thinking out loud a bit, if you get me. But yeah, Leao's a left winger. And like I said, not somebody that I think is consistent enough to come to Liverpool. But, on his day, a very, very talented player. Angus Court, how are you, my man? Said, hi, Craig, my friend. Hope you and the family are well. Yeah, we're all good, man. We're all good. Today is kind of the first day I've really started to come back around to feeling myself. Like everybody else, I was a little bit taken back about what happened. And on that, I want to just go through this quickly because I don't want to dwell on it because we've all had enough negative thoughts about this situation, but I feel like I do have to touch on it just for 1 second. So, where is it? There's in here. So, former Royal Marine Paul Doyle, 53, has been charged over the Liverpool crash with dangerous driving, causing grievous bodily harm, with intent, wounding, with intent to cause GBH, and attempted GBH. So once again, the name now of the person in question that has been arrested is former Royal Marine Paul Doyle, 53, from West Derby in Liverpool. Has been charged over the Liverpool crash with dangerous driving, causing grievous bodily harm with intent, wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, and attempted grievous bodily harm. So again, that's a bit of factual news. Not going to dwell on it anymore because the legal process has to happen now, but we did finally get that name in the media today. Cal, how are you, dude? Said, hi, buddy. I'm the only person who seriously considers players' songs when keeping Bobby, Lucho, Verge, Fede and Maka are all bangers. So was Genie Wijnaldum's. I love the Genie one as well. My favourite Liverpool songs have been the Bobby Firmino one, though, and the Virgil van Dijk one. I love both of them. But I agree, Cal. It is an important thing to make sure you get these player songs right. King 7th said, what 2 centre-backs would be your ideal buys? I don't know. Hand on heart, mate, I don't know who the best fit would be. I was kind of all in mentally on Dean Huijsen. I was. I really did want him to come in. After that, it depends who we want it for. Are we looking for a left-sided centre-back, a right-sided centre-back, somebody who can play in both positions, somebody who can play in full-back position and centre-back position? The truth is I don't know. I feel like we need a left-sided cover for Virgil because he hasn't really got anybody there that can fill in properly if he does need to be given a breather or something. I'd like Joe Gomez to stay selfishly because of his versatility, but there's just, that's one of those areas of the pitch that I think is up in the air at the minute. Evening all, I think Real Madrid fear us going forward, especially in the Champions League. Regards. I think they do as well, and I think they should, because look at what we're putting together. Our midfield's incredible, and if we can add another bit of attacking quality to that, if it's, let's say Elliott out and Wirtz in, happy days. I'm sad to see Harvey Elliott go. I really love the kid, but if it's best for everybody concerned, then so be it. I don't mean this to sound really derogatory towards Darwin, but any centre forward we bring in is probably going to help us next season more than we did get this season from Darwin. The left side of attack I find very intriguing as well, because Diaz hasn't been approached for a new deal as per Paul Joyce. Let me just read this one out. Luis Diaz has become the latest player to attract interest from Saudi Arabia, with Al Nassr monitoring his situation. Diaz has 2 years remaining on his current contract, and so far there has been no move by the club to broker an extension. So, surely that points to either Liverpool letting his deal run down and letting him go in 2 years when he's 30, or maybe Liverpool listening to offers this summer. I mean, I guess it was the second one, but I am doing just that, guessing. Right, look, ladies and gents, if I could ask a little favour, if you can, do hit that like button for us. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to do that. If you're with us for the first time, a pleasure to have you in. You're all very welcome along. If It Bleeds says, has John really splashed the money if we sell 6 players for 3 new players? So it's an interesting point that you've brought up, mate. And it's one that I've addressed on a few occasions. For me, it doesn't matter as long as we end up with a better squad. And I mean that sincerely. Like, if we sit here at the end of the window with a net spend of, let's throw out there, 120 million quid, but we've brought in Wirtz, we've brought in Kerkez, we've brought in Frimpong, we've addressed the centre-back situation and the centre-forward situation, then I won't be complaining about it. There's nothing wrong with doing good business with sales. You want your club to bring in as much money as you can from sales. It's about just making sure, for me, at the end of this window, we feel the manager has been given the players to allow him to compete in 4 competitions. And yes, we do need some of the fringe players moved on. And I think there are a lot of players, if we were to go through the whole squad, that we could say would probably be best to move on. Like, let's run through some of them right now. Kelleher's going to move on because Maradashvili's coming in. We know Trent is already going to be going to Madrid. We're probably going to sell Costas. At centre-back, Kwanzaa is available for sale. Midfield, Elliott could be sold. Tyler Morton most probably going to be sold. I don't know what happens to some of the other fringe midfielders in and around the squad either. If you're moving into the attacking end of the pitch, there's a load of talent there, young talent as well, that Liverpool have out on loan, and I don't know what's going to happen there. So I think you could name 8 to 10 Liverpool players that could be sold this summer. And how many of those would actually weaken the first 11? Probably not many, if any. But I do totally get your point, mate. But I would say, yeah, it does. If the club do good business, it's good business. I've never been somebody who just wants to see us spend £300 million just for the sake of spending £300 million. I just want the manager having a squad that he trusts. And the moves that we're making, I think we'll all agree, are clearly upgrades. If Costas went out and Kerkez came in, that's a big upgrade. Frimpong's situation on the right, look, that's down to what happened with Trent. So kind of out of the club's hands. In the Attacking midfield position, we want more creativity, and I think we'll all agree that Wirtz will be an upgrade on Elliott if that's the way we looked at that deal. So I do get it, but again, it's about, I guess, a holistic look to the squad as a whole. Itachi said, evening, my friend. What about Van de Ven from Spurs? He could be a backup for 1-2 seasons and then a successor for VVD. You got to be concerned about his injuries, though, right? Mickey Van de Ven is an incredible player, but he has had a lot of injuries at Spurs. And with them getting Champions League football, I don't think that they're going to want to be selling him. I think they're going to be wanting to add to that squad now. So, yeah, I think that is one that we probably missed the boat on when he was at Wolfsburg. But looking back on it, with the injuries he's had, maybe sort of a blessing in disguise. AD said, Mbuemo was a striker until Salah leaves. Well, he plays off the right wing for Brentford. Manchester United have been linked with Bryan Mbuemo in recent times. And I think, am I inventing this or have I just misremembered it? But were City's name in that mix as well? Again, if I'm wrong on that, I apologise. I'm working off memory, but I love Mbuemo. I've said this before. I would always been happy if Mbuemo comes in, but Liverpool need a striker. And we have, if Chiesa stays, we have an option there to cover Mo. If he goes to the AFCON, we also have Frimpong, who can operate on the right side of attack. If Wirtz comes in at a push as well, you can push Szoboszlai out to the right side. So, yeah, look, it's looking good, but I don't see Mbuemo coming in now. But I do like him. Really good player. A Wirtz Frimpong double announcement video, cinema. It'd break the internet. Honestly, it would. Can you imagine those two who are already mates? Frimpong used to give Wirtz lifts to training and all when he didn't drive. Them two are thick as thieves, as the phrase goes. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Many people have been asking why we haven't seen the Frimpong announcement video yet. I can only guess that it's because they'd like to do the double announcement, but of course we got to get that done. But yeah, it would break the internet, wouldn't it? Watch the backtracking though. Watch the backtracking. I've already seen it with Manchester City fans. Oh look, we fooled Liverpool into paying 150 million euro for Wirtz. He's so overrated. Fuck off. Who are you trying to kid? Just cry about it and just be honest and just say shit. Because we had to do it when we lost Caicedo, and that one stung. We had to do it when Bellingham went to Madrid. We had to do it when Zubamendi decided that he wanted to stay and climb mountains over in Sociedad. So just take it on the chin, City fans, and just admit that you lost out this time. It's okay. The sense of entitlement from some of the Bayern fans has been nuts, by the way. Absolutely nuts. Why would he go there? Bayern are such a bigger and better club. Blah, 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 blah. Just so used to getting what they want. So used to cherry picking the best talent in the Bundesliga. And I just can't accept that they lost out on this one. And I'm feeling very smug about it all as a Liverpool fan. Jeremy, thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Martin said, do you think a player goes the other way in the Wirtz deal? Well, it's certainly part of this negotiation that we've been hearing about today. Let me take you all the way back to this morning. Where's this one? From this morning. Was it this one? Yeah, offers are being sent back and forth between Liverpool and Leverkusen, according to Florian Plettenberg. Leverkusen are trying to get a player out of Liverpool, and you can assume an agreement will possibly be reached this week for the transfer of Wirtz. So, yeah, they are looking for a player. I honestly haven't got a clue who the conversation is about. I don't know who that player is, but another bit of good news, by the way. Real Madrid officials have informed Xabi Alonso that a move for Ibrahim Konate is not possible this summer. Liverpool, apparently, according to Defensa Central, are demanding €70 million for Konate, who has 1 year left on his deal. So that's one that won't be going to Madrid this summer. Also, Konate, speaking about his contract situation, said, my agent met with the club last week, but I don't know what will happen. This is very interesting, though, because in what he says next, he basically calls 2-3 very prominent journalists liars. He said, I just want to say one thing. Everything that you've seen on social media is completely fake. I didn't even ask for something from the club. And previously, he said as well, that all that talk about a deal being closed in October was bullshit. Now, many good journalists, Romano, Joyce and others, were saying that deal was close. And I'm not the one calling them a liar, by the way. But the man himself has spoken about the fact that deal was never close and that wasn't the case. Why 23 or 27 for Wirtz? Two numbers that he's worn previously. 23 was the number that he wore at underage level, I believe. And 27 was the number that either he wore before he took his current number or that he wears for the national team. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But they're the two numbers that are both available. And, well, they're the two numbers in discussion. Yeah, numbers he's worn before, basically. Wesley said centre-back option, Jan Orel Bišek, Inter Milan, 24 years of old, 6'4" tall, 82 kilos, big guy, has good passing and defensive stats, has Champions League experience too. But Inter Milan aren't going to want to sell their players, Wesley. They're in a Champions League final. They just missed out on the Serie A title as well this season, so I just don't think they're going to be a selling club. You know, they're going to want to keep building there. And look, if I was at Inter Milan at the minute, I'd think long and hard about moving away from the club as well, because it's a club that's doing well. Andy said, thank you for all the hard work and dedication. By far the #1 channel on YouTube. Keep being you and keep up the good work. Thank you for everything you do. I cannot thank you so much, Andy. You're an absolute gent, mate. But nobody ever has to thank me for anything. We're together on this, you know. We are a community and we're a family. There's one thing that bugged me in a comment I read earlier on that I want to just get off my chest. Somebody said something about me waffling in a video to get to 8 minutes, to get the extra ad revenue, and then went on to say money doesn't matter though, does it, Craig? Let me just address that for a second. Of course money matters. But what I say when I mean I don't give a shit about the money is we turn down a load of brand deals because we don't think they're a good fit. Money is not at the forefront of our thoughts, but of course we have to pay the bills. You know, we do have employees and all that need to be paid, but I don't give a shit about how much money we make as long as we can cover ourselves, which is why we keep our stuff as low as we can, which is why we don't try to work with companies to flog you betting links or any of that type of stuff. So, of course, money has to count to some extent to everybody in this industry, but it isn't what drives me. It isn't what motivates me. What motivates me is the connection that we all have and having the fun that we have each and every night. And to those people that just want to keep undermining me in the comments and belittling me, why the fuck do you watch? If I'm such a horrible person that you despise so much, why every time I pick my nose are you there when I turn around? Just do yourself a favour and don't watch me. I wouldn't watch me if I didn't like me. Why are you subjecting yourself to it? Just go have a wank, be happy, do something with your life. It's really weird. I hate this lad, but yet there you are every time. You know, I don't ask you to come in. I don't knock on your door and say, dude, come and listen to what I have to say. But, you know, when people start spreading lies about me, that's when I start getting wound up. I wish we could see more of Ben Doak in the first team. He's actually another name, Aaron, that we haven't even spoken about a potential sale of this summer. I'm not sure if Everton's interest is still there, but they have been interested in him previously. Liverpool's valuation there, I think, upwards of 30 million quid. Sheriff Torchwood said, good night to you all, busy day tomorrow. And happy 50th again, my man, this weekend. Much love to you, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. Andy, I did miss your resub message, mate. I was just working back through the chat. I'm delayed a little bit working through it. I think we should get Isak or Alvarez ASAP, regardless of the price, or if they already told to stay. This summer, we go big or go home. Well, on that, mate, there was an interesting post earlier on from Moby Hake that kind of caught our attention. Let me just read it out to you. Where has it gone? Where are you? 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 This one. So, on that, interesting to come across a report that says the name Lautaro Martinez is being linked to Atletico Madrid in the Spanish press. Nothing concrete, but can only see that happen if Alvarez departs. Long shot. They're also looking at Voltmade as Correa departs and Griezmann no longer wanted. So I'm hoping beyond hope that we have a chance to sign Julian Alvarez, but I don't know what the lay of the land is there. Honestly, I don't. I'd love to think that there's a chance though, Alvin, because mate, that would be incredible. Victor Boniface, Schick, or Alvarez for me. Love you, thank you. Is Boniface not like 27, 28, or if I got that wrong? But again, appreciate you, my man, and thank you for the suggestions. Alvarez is the one for me, though. Like in the wet dream mode that we spoke about, he's the one for me. Ryan said, "Hi, Craig. One of the reasons people are nervous is because we know how FSG operate with the penny pinching. That's why I'm not convinced he joins. This isn't got to do with anything other than the structure and the bottom line number. It's not about penny pinching. It's about making sure that we can do all the business we need to do in the market. So, like I said earlier on, if we just said, okay, 150 million euro, no problem, and they say we want it in 2 payments, well, that probably means the knock-on effect to us is maybe we can't buy the centre forward, or maybe we can't bring in the centre back that we want to bring in. So Liverpool's job here is, one, of course, to convince the player. That's done. But we have to make the deal work with Leverkusen that allows them to be happy with it and allows us to continue with the business that we need to do and not hamstring ourselves with a commitment of more money up front or a shorter term of payments. So on this one, it's far different from some of the other deals that's fallen away from. Again, Zubamendi changed his mind. That was not on the club. Caicedo wouldn't have happened if Hughes and Edwards were here. I will continue to say that. And Liverpool put in a late bid there and obviously didn't really have the player won over. The player, in Wirtz's case, only wants Liverpool. But I do understand it. All I can do is just come on to continue to tell you how confident I am about it. But I can't make everybody else feel a certain way. I'd like Wirtz to have the number 3, lucky number 3, said Sheriff Torchwood. I'm old school, mate. I think number 3 should be left back for me. I think, yeah, number 3 should be your left back. I'm old school in that one. What's the latest update on Wirtz? Just the club's trying to figure out the numbers involved in it, mate. That's it. That's the only hold-up. That and the fact that Leverkusen are looking for a Liverpool player in the deal as well. Don't know who that player is, but Florian Plettenberg said offers have been sent back and forth between Liverpool and Leverkusen. Leverkusen are trying to get a player out of Liverpool, and you can assume an agreement will possibly be reached this week for the transfer. That's it. On top of that, we talked about Didi Hamann, speaking about how excited he's going to be to see Wirtz in Liverpool shirt. We move on to speak about Rodrigo actually in a second. Bild have put out this report to say Bayern Munich were hoping to pip Liverpool to the race for Wirtz's signature, having worked on a deal behind the scenes for some time, but were informed last week that the player's preference was a move to Anfield, and in a show of respect and class, Florian Wirtz personally phoned Vincent Kompany to explain his decision. This piece here said on the day of Bayern's title celebration, there was a meeting between Bayern and Florian Wirtz. He was picked up at the airport and driven to a hotel in the city. Everyone was there to try to convince Wirtz that it was Bayern's last attempt to lure him to Munich. After these discussions, Wirtz thought about it for 5 days and in the end politely declined Bayern's offer. Philip Barron said Wirtz is on the verge of a move to Liverpool. Negotiations are ongoing. Liverpool hope to have clarity before the Nations League next Wednesday. On top of that, we had Paul Joyce saying Liverpool are planning to spend heavily in the transfer market this summer with negotiations ongoing for a club record deal for Bayer Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz, while a £30 million agreement for his teammate Jeremie Frimpong is close to being announced. I can say that all those contracts and paperwork are signed for Frimpong, I mean. Also, he said there is also interest in Bournemouth left-back Milos Kerkez, who is valued at 45 million by his club, and other positions, meaning there will be focus on raising money through sales. Bild then posted to say Florian Wirtz is about to make his mega move to Liverpool. So again, I understand people be concerned about it, but it's just, we're going to have to sit on it and be patient for the minute. Boniface is 24. Who am I thinking of then? There was somebody else that was an attacker recently in the Bundesliga whose name came up, and I thought, oh, he's all right. And then I realised he was like 27 or 28. But I've not seen Boniface's name mentioned when I moved to Liverpool, to be honest with you. I don't even know, sitting here, how to think about exactly the type of attributes that Arne wants for his number 9. Because I don't know what an Arne slot number 9 is. Who's on free kick duty now that Trent is gone? Oh, it's a good question. I'd say Maka has to be up there as a contender. Wirtz will be right up there now as a contender for some set pieces as well. But yeah, I'm saying one of those two, Maka or Wirtz. But give us some shouts in the chat who you think should be on free kick duty. Andres said, Georgie, Frimpong, centre-back, Kerkez, Wirtz, Alvarez, yes please. Yep, sign me up for everything that you've said there, my man. That's a window that I can get behind. Michael said, Liverpool apparently looking at Gonçalo Ramos. Yeah, we've seen that report from Sam Maguire earlier on of Anfield Watch. He said, exclusive, Liverpool add Gonçalo Ramos to the shortlist as they look for a value money attacker in an overpriced market. And I very much agree with Sam on it being an overpriced market. It is. There's not much value out there. When you see the numbers involved for the likes of Ekitike or Benjamin Šeško, you can see that it's astronomical money for players that haven't proven themselves to be astronomical money players just yet. VVD, have you seen his free kicks? I remember McCrab, some of the ones he banged in up at Celtic, all right. But I don't want my centre-back anywhere else but in the penalty area when those free kicks are being taken, just in case. You know, I want his height in there. Don't want him being wasted taking the frees. Dom on free kicks, said David Massett. Wirtz will take them, said Mark. Jota's too injury prone. Yeah, Jota, actually, what do we think about Jota, everybody in the chat? What do you think happens with Jota? Does Szoboszlai get benched if Wirtz comes in? Who gets benched in the midfield? It will depend on who we play. Sometimes we may need to have Gravenberch and Maka in there, and maybe it's Wirtz ahead. Sometimes maybe we may see Szoboszlai pushed a little bit further to the right. I wouldn't think about it from the case of who gets dropped, because we're not going to play the same 11 week in and week out. What this will do is just give versatility and options to the manager in midfield. Love Scars, mate, I absolutely can only apologise about the hoodie situation, because your head is as wrecked as much as mine, I promise you. We ordered one for Brian probably before your good self ordered that one, and the company are absolutely taking the piss, and they should be ashamed of themselves. We've stopped selling them at this point, and they're a company, by the way, that are embedded and work in with YouTube. So I'm absolutely disgusted by it, and I promise you, I can only sincerely apologise, but we're chasing it up as well. Some people have been receiving them recently, but it isn't good enough, and there is no getting away from that, my man. You're spot on, and I promise you I will chase it up. If you want to drop me an email, please do, and I'll keep in contact with you over it. But you're right, it's not good enough. It isn't good enough, and we feel the very same as your good self, mate. And I promise you we'll continue to push with them, because they took people's money, and we haven't been paid for any of it yet, by the way, either. And we haven't even received some hoodies that we've paid for ourselves. So I totally understand and agree with your frustration. Dave said, it's fascinating how we can agree terms for selling players, but equally what terms we can agree with buying clubs for players. I find the whole process fascinating, mate. The whole transfer process. Paul Davies said, Craig, do you think we might get a cheaper number 9 this season and then revisit Isak or Alvarez next season? It's possible. Like, I don't know what's going on in the centre forward position. Like, it's not one I'm well informed on. We also have to remember Jayden Danns is one for the future here as well. And Young Rio is another wide attacking player for the future. So, like, I'm wondering if Diaz gets moved on, does Young Rio then become the backup to Cody Gakpo, or is it a little bit too soon? With the likes of Jayden Danns, I really believe firmly he needs to go on loan this season because he needs to play every single week he can to make sure he can get his body up to the rigours of playing every single week. And then we've got the likes of Lewis Kumas as well, Cade Gordon, other young players like that. So yeah, it's intriguing. Jai, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Wither said 4-2-4 Wirtz, Soboslai, false nines. That is absolutely possible, my man. Absolutely possible. Yeah, it's possible, and it's something that I'd be really happy with and get on board with as well, because I like that idea. You know, one drops deep, another comes in, one drops back in, another pushes forward. We've seen us flirt with that on occasion, and look, we've basically spent the majority of this season shoehorning a wide player into that number 9 position. So yeah, could be on the money there with her. Rusba said, where is Wirtz going to play mainly? If he plays 10, is Dom going to be benched, or will he be left, or a false 9? Are we going to change system? I don't know. these are honest lot questions. But all I will say again is it gives us so many options, doesn't it? And again, I don't mean to not give you an answer there, Rusba, but I truly just don't know it, mate. But I know I'm excited by the possibilities of it. Good question from Just Henry. Said, what about Calvin Ramsey, the youngster the Klopp brought? He's had a really bad time with injuries. His loans haven't really worked out. And other than that, mate, I don't know what's going on. Owen Beck is another great shout in the chat from somebody. And I'll be honest and say I haven't got a Scooby-Doo. What's going on with Owen Beck? I've always been honest and said some of the younger players and their pathways through, I just don't have time to keep an eye on. So I don't know what is going to happen with Owen Beck. I really don't. Jay Cliff said, Craig, chase Branthwaite for Doak plus 20 million, 5 add-ons. That'd be incredible. Yes. Mate, sign me up for that. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but I love Branthwaite. I think he's brilliant. Someone said, are you sure we're not into Gyökeres? Every journalist that I spoke to, and this was a few months back, mind you, said no. Absolutely zero interest for Liverpool and Victor Gyökeres because Liverpool don't feel that he's proven himself in a high enough league. Take into account his age as well. He's going to be 27. It just doesn't seem like a deal that Liverpool are going to be interested in. And I've not seen it written in the media either. So I can only tell you what I heard months ago, and it was months ago. You know, full disclosure on that. But I've not been told or read anything even to suggest that Liverpool's stance on him has changed. Didn't he come out recently, though, and say that life in Lisbon or Lisbon is better than Manchester or London? I'm 99% sure I hadn't invented that one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All I can say to you is Liverpool apparently just looked at him and just think unproven in a high enough caliber league. You know, we took the gamble on a player from the Portuguese division with Darwin, and that backfired massively. Now, Gyökeres has a bigger body of work, I will admit, but honestly, no. I think right now, I would say there's less than a 1% chance we're in the mix for him, unless something has changed. See the PSG links for Maston Tuono. Every club, man, has been linked with him. Madrid, not sure about Barca, actually. Liverpool, City, PSG, like you've said. I've been paying a little bit of attention to him. I've been watching some of the River Plate games in the Copa Libertadores and stuff like that. He scored a good free kick as well in the Super Classico a while back. And he looks like an incredible talent at just like 17 or something like that. And I wish we did, by the way. I wish we did take more of a punt on some players from South America a bit more often, because it is one part of the world I feel like we really don't look to exercise the scouting department, that we have out there. We don't really do much from South America, or not enough for my liking, directly from South America, I mean. Farburns045 said Wirtz will be like Bobby Coutinho role is my betting. Yeah, it's a good shout, mate, and I'd be very happy if that was the case and he was the Bobby Firmino type role, like you've said, and like the other gentleman Wither said a while ago as well. And we may see a 4-2-4 or something like that. With Huijsen gone, who did you think our centre back target will be? I would go for Haddo. He doesn't have to be thrown straight into the 11. I've two of thought on it, Chris. Firstly, what happens with Canade, I think, might be important because if Canade goes, you then need a senior centre back to come in. If Canade stays and agrees a new deal, then probably you're looking to bring in a younger centre back, maybe to replace the likes of a Kwanzaa. In that case, a Hato may make sense. He can play at left back, left centre back, but I don't know. I really just don't know. It's not a position that I have any level of information on to say who I think could be a realistic target for us. I just don't know. Kev said, Craig, I love that everyone thinks that all the players we buy have to start. Why we need a squad, not a starting 11. Exactly, mate. What we've suffered from this season is an over-reliance on the 11 or on the 14, let's say, that Arne Slot really, really trusted. But we also have to admit that we've been a tad fortunate that we didn't see a big injury at centre-back or a big injury in defensive midfield. So I'm right with you. I'm right with you in saying, yeah, we need a squad. And that's what this is going to be about now, is making sure that if we do have to replace somebody, we don't go, oh, is this going to work? This is a big drop off from the level we have ahead. We need to make sure that if we go to a Plymouth Argyle in the FA Cup and we put out a second string team, that second string team is more than good enough to get the job done. Plane update, said Ryan. Plane is en route from Cologne to Manchester. Probably not much in it, but still interesting, according to Nicholas Bieber. Yeah, look, mate, I love a bit of plane spotting, as you know, Ryan, but I don't know where to go with this one. I think the German squad are meeting up from tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Saturday. I've seen some of the plane links today. There was talk of one going from Cologne to somewhere else. I really just don't know, man, but I love it. I love that we're keeping tabs on it, and maybe there is something to it, maybe there isn't, but again, we'll get the, not the here we go, I guess, but we'll get the agreement reached between clubs, and then we get excited when we start looking at planes. Maybe he's on the way, I don't know. Maybe there's been a breakthrough behind the scenes that the public don't know about. This is all the skullduggery of the transfer window. Craig, is your Premier League trophy still at the hot water? Yes, it is, Dave. We're figuring out the best way to bring it back over here. Obviously, the plan was that we were going back over for the Wednesday show, and then it was bringing it back home. But yeah, we're going to work with the venue to get that one couriered back over to us, because I missed my Premier League trophy. Matthew said playing links is mad. I love it though. I do. I love that Liverpool fans track planes. Do you remember the Alan Varela situation at the end of the last one? It led to nothing, but it's fun in these moments. Sheldon Oliver said, heard Dirk Kuyt is returning to Liverpool if Heidinga takes the Ajax job. He's certainly in the mix, mate. Himself, who was the other one? Gerrard's name came up today. I don't know if there's that into that as a potential, but yeah, Dirk Kuyt is leaving Beerschot at the end. Well, he's left Beerschot at the end of the season, and for me, be a good fit. Dutchman as well. Bring him in alongside Arne, somebody who knows the club, somebody who, of course, has a great affinity with the Liverpool fan base, somebody who always left it all out there on the pitch as a player. So yeah, I'd be more than happy. Heidinga, it's sad to lose him, but to go and take the Ajax job is a big move for him in his own managerial career, and of course he couldn't stand in the way of that. Oliver Fox said, check out Mika Biereth, 16. What's this? Goals assist 13. 16 goal contribute. I don't know what GP is, sorry. 16. I don't know what that is. 13 goals, 2 good option. What's GP? What's GP? Help me out, Chow. What's GP? It's not goal contributions. I don't know what's GP. Am I missing something really obvious here? Yeah, sorry, man. I don't know. GP? Don't know what that is. And I'm not even going to lie to you, Oliver, the odds of me remembering to check in on him probably are... games played. Yeah. Sorry, that's just... Yeah, games played. That makes sense. 16 games played, 13 goals. Two good option. There you go. Thank you, my man. Yeah, games played. Legends. Appreciate you helping the dumb Irishman out on that one. Games played. Oh, I feel like such a boomer when I don't get the shorthands, by the way. But yeah, I guess I am a boomer at this point. Goal predictions. No, games played. Yeah, games played. Well done. Thank you for filling me in on that one, because honestly, I'd never figured that one out. I'm just seeing if there's anything I've missed here. Bear with me. I think I've gone through we haven't spoken about Rodrigo, actually. So, this piece from Transfer News Live said Chelsea want to compete for everything next season and want to make a statement signing. They believe Rodrigo is perfect for them and fits all their requirements. He would cost around €100 million. How do they keep getting away with it? How? They've spent £1.3 billion in the last 2 years and brought in a good chunk in sales, to be fair. But yet again now, they're out there being linked with €100 million Kittiga, €100 million Rodrigo. They're being linked with every player under the sun. And once again, apparently have the ability to do it financially. If they found more hotels to sell to themselves or something, surely at some point they have to be held to account. They were losing like 900 grand a week or something for 17 years under Abramovich. That all just disappeared when the club was sold. And then Bowley comes in and spends ungodly amounts of money, the likes of which we've not seen before. And again, we were told for 2 years, if they didn't get Champions League, they were up shit creek, and they didn't. And now they've finally gotten into it, and they're ramping up the purchases again. It's mental. I can't for the life of me figure out how they have an ability to spend amounts of money that no other club seem to be able to do and never fall into PSR issues. Does anybody else not feel that way about Chelsea? Like, we talk about City and Newcastle and their wealthy owners and all, but Bowley and Chelsea seem to just be able to do whatever they want. To be fair to Chelsea, they haven't had a decent winger since Hazard. Yeah, because one of them's out with a drugs ban at the minute, isn't he? The one that they absolutely stole from under Arsenal's nose. It's crazy. Craig, your money man, said they might be banned from the Champions League next season. Can't remember his name, but you mentioned in regards to finance of the football clubs. So are we talking about Kieran Maguire? So Kieran Maguire is obviously somebody who's very well versed. Dave Powell would be the one who I think is the Echo's football finance expert. Maybe it was Mo Chatra, Swiss Ramble. They're all types of people who you'd usually look to around football finance. David said Todd Bowley is a very, very smart man. Yeah, so smart that he thought there were 12 players on a football pitch. Bowley, he doesn't seem like a smart man to me. He seems like a weasel who finds ways to get around rules rather than anything else. But look, they haven't been held to account on it yet, so... are we doing good business this season? You'll never walk alone, said DCP. And thank you, man, for being with us as a member for 20 months. Yes, very good business. I'm more intrigued by our outgoings this summer than the incomings, because the incomings are almost self-explanatory to a certain degree. But I'm really intrigued if we haven't spoken about a player maybe who ends up leaving Liverpool. He's a loophole man, said Foxy. Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. Selling hotels, selling the women's team, it just feels like every loophole that's there. And look, I guess loopholes are there to be exploited, right? If you can find a way around rules without breaking them, I guess that's a strength to have as well. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a whole load of stuff just sent into my inbox for the late night video that I have to go through. I will do my best to get the update and the late night video out in the next 20 minutes. So tomorrow, what day have we got? Friday. We'll be live tomorrow. Won't be live on Saturday, but we'll be live tomorrow for a late night agenda. Gonna have a news video coming out for you again in a few minutes with a recap of tonight, and again we'll talk about some updated stories as well. And again, thank you so much to everyone who did join us. If you can, drop a like on the stream for me. Thank you to our sponsors, Surfshark, once again. Really appreciate all of their support. And most importantly, thank you to you guys for continuously coming in day after day, having a bit of fun with me, sharing the good times, the bad times, and everything in between. Love you all to bits. Appreciate your support, and we will talk tomorrow. Much love, my friends. Take care.